Hey everybody, welcome back to the newest. We're checking into REITs with Johan. I had just done a newest, which we'll be processing as I did it live, with Catnap over in Arcadia to cover the patch notes there in Discord. Now, if you're not in Arcadia, and you're not an advanced player, you're not up in levels, maybe you're more like me, or beyond me, where I haven't really gotten past level 20 in any particular thing. The first thing we're going to be looking at is the fact that there's these loading issues reporting, and we've gone to the right place to do it. Up to 10 minutes, they're saying, for things to develop and for people to be able to use their objects. And you've seen me record this many times before. But is this our problem or a Pax Dei problem? Why I say it's our problem, it's not about systems or bit rates, is it? It has to do about what we want. We have too much junk. As you can see here, I have less junk today because I let Lagerta's plot expire. And as you can see, I don't know, that's a lot of ingots that was right there. And a lot of other stuff too. And this is what happens when you let things expire. One of the main points of even having this around, I've already replaced this plot here, but I don't have steps anymore. I need to change all this anyway. But as you can see, I have no permission. It's not mine. I can't do anything. That will be destroyed later, by the way. That's the great thing about it. When you test something, I clicked through it. No, I hadn't destroyed it yet, but I did click through it. So this has been a real pain for people, and that's what I'm highlighting right here. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice? Can't even walk out there, can I? I would be drowning, wouldn't I? I'd be using the secret water walking method. I'm doing this on purpose, folks, because, we have lots of options when it comes to playing video games. And it would be nice if this one would play a little bit nicer. But is it our fault? They need object limits. When people have a lot, I don't know anybody here, these are large places, but they could actually be consisting of very small amounts of materials altogether. So what is it that's making everything so difficult? There's Flo's place, there's my neighbor across the way. Their stuff hasn't even clicked in yet. Now, when I jumped on here before to see how things were going, I saw this plot the way it was, and I was like, oh, yeah. Well, I couldn't get back to the game, so that's just the way it was. You're going to disappear, you're going to disappear, one of these is going to disappear. Anyway, so I had a bunch of stuff over here, I had a bunch of stuff up to here, I had all the ingots and everything in here, gone. And when it comes down to Johan's, there, nothing, no items to redeem. Really quickly, you can see the 40 up there. But right, so what can you do? You want to get on and do stuff? Well, you could go out and hunt, and I guess chop wood. Yay. Yeah, I lost all this stuff. Bummer. That was a bunch of stuff. But it wasn't a bunch. This stuff wasn't there. I did eyeball it, but I kind of wondered if I could make it back in time. But I didn't. So everything Catnap made for himself, all the armor he made for himself, all the armor Twist made for herself, I just ate some stuff there with my mouse buttons. Happy little accidents. But that's it, right? Now typically, everything is fine in Pax Dei. If you go to Tolosa, man, maybe I should jump over to Tolosa, I don't have Johan right here. People saying carries is bad, right in Discord. I could look it right up again. I could also look up the Discord again, where Cool K, I believe another German, one who's not a bigot though, being that False Incorporated is a straight up bigot. I've never seen that out of Cool K. So I'm walking on my neighbor's property. Sometimes that's not it. When I tuned in last time, it took about 8 minutes for all my stuff to show up so I could find out exactly what disappeared. Well, this is a major problem. But is it our fault? Do we need a prim count max. What's a prim count? Well, how many things can you have on your property that are worth a certain amount of prims? I've discussed this before. You've walked on things in Pax Dei where you're standing doesn't make any sense. You know, like I just jumped up on that barrel, but where did I grab onto? Where did I grab onto on that barrel? Not you. Okay, top of the barrel. I'm not fooled this time. But there's certain other objects that are a bit looser. Whoa, whoa. I'm really having trouble with my mouse here. Having some movement issues. Climb it like a pole, why not? So, dude, stop running. Do I have it yet? Oh, it's gone, so I must. There you go. That's one of the first ways you can learn that things are back. Because something you clicked on disappears. Now, I can personally understand how this is frustrating. And if you go on Discord and talk to the know-it-alls about it, they're going to give you a bunch of bunk. So that's fine. Here's my settings. One thing about someone writing you something in Discord, and another thing about someone who's playing it right in front of you, think about that. So, epic, high, epic, 60, quality, right? Streaming distance quality has never meant anything. The fact that Pepe La Pedo, the Pepe La Pede, you just avoid petty, don't you? P-E-D-E, you should avoid that. Petty. I would never call myself Pete the Petty or something, right? Anyway, so just saying, I don't know who they are. I have no idea. It's just, why do they have petty? Anyway, well, maybe in their language it means something different. That's fine. So, yeah, never changed my distances, never changed my settings. And for someone logging in and saying they show improvements with it, cool, because I've never shown improvements with it. I've never shown any difference. And I could log back in now and see how fast things go. Should we? That'd be interesting. Let's do that. And then we're going to wrap this baby up. Let's log out and log in again. Well, maybe not wrap it up, but you know what I mean. So log out now. Let's go here. It shouldn't make a difference. Let's go on low. Because I want to know if Pepe Le Petty is correct. That's what I do. You can change it back right in the game. Now low. Low affects more than objects. You're going to see the disappearing a lot of foliage. Which has nothing to do with players, does it? Here we go. Well, my hammer's out. I have permissions again. Maybe I should have waited longer. But on low, there you go. No hesitation. So fine. I've never had to do it though. What happens when you come in on low? Well, not much. Look. Oh, it looks like... Yeah, there's... Okay, there's a bunch of stuff. Well, let's crank it up. Just seeing the buildings. I didn't realize there were that many not showing. So low. Epic. And there we go. Now, it doesn't cause any changes. Those things snapped in. The permissions snapped in. Look, the buildings all of a sudden snapped in. So yes, on low, you're generating just you. So if you want to stay at home and do things on your plot, I guess low is all right. If you're not on your plot, then you're going to be out in the woods, and well, it'll res the area around you. But yeah, low just doesn't make... Yeah, if you can remember it, go for it. Sure. I don't know, it seems to work. I've never used it. I've never changed it. And so if you want it faster, there you go. All right, so there's another issue. Billy brought up the fact grace. Spent over 2,000 grace. I think it was Osco, who Kitten was on earlier. Honey and Osco were doing the duel the other day with a couple other people, and which was pretty cool. But Osco was saying how it cost him. He had spent like 1,200 grace. Come on, Johan, you can do it. He'd spent like 1,200 grace that day and had no fast travel left. Grace. You can use it for a lot of things. One of the main problems is it costs you gold. It scales up rather quickly. I would love to see them. I don't know. They don't want you buying too much. That's fine. But 18,977,310 for 240. I guess it was a deal when it was 360 or 340, whatever it was. But it was 300, and they changed that, which is a beautiful whatever. Because now you don't have a halfway point. Is that what they're saying? 120, 240? No, they made a halfway point. Did they change the whole thing? If I have videos, maybe it was Mainframe who depth charged my channel to get rid of all the evidence of all their past that everybody's so nostalgic of. No idea. But you know this was different. Or the gold or something else has changed. Because 360 for 60. 360 gold for 60 grace goes up to 10,310 gold for 120. So you know where you're going. 360 is pretty damn expensive, but you should be able to get out of a camp or two, and you could actually get yourself 60 grace in one day, which is cool. Isn't that great? Makes you feel so good. You can get 30 with 90, and of course, you could do it like me, get 10 for 20 or something like that, because I don't have much around, and I have more people checking on. So if you log in 20 times a month, which, who does that? I mean, I don't even do it. That's 200 grace. So you can stick up with that, and then every time have enough gold to buy some grace. 60 gold or whatever you get, you know, or 60 grace for 360 gold. Rock and roll. Wonderful idea, wonderful idea. But then you're using it for blessings. And then you're using it for fast travel. One of the big problems, like I just mentioned in the previous episode, is how nasty it is to move out of your original valley of choice. These are all home valleys, and really they're home to nobody. It's just a video game. But someone might say, okay, living in Reeds is too difficult. And these people over in Lydal are very active, and they are. Dolovan has a much smaller population. Tremin, Vans, Uis, Bronier, Dreger, and Pladen, all beautiful areas. You don't have to live in Reeds. But if you want to move out of Reeds with all your possessions, you're going to be paying for grace. To go here, you know, it only costs me 0 from where I am. How nice. I cannot lie. I do in fact miss torches. Probably not while running though. So I can travel to the Gwendian Stone for 0. Wow, that gives me part way to nowhere. Pretty much, right? Johan hasn't opened up anything, so I can't tell you, but these are going to be 20 grace, you know, maybe 10. And I've seen some as far as 30. So, and you can't go to another area until you physically are there. They were the light of your life. Probably not. But when it comes down, see, everybody's nostalgic. Everybody's nostalgic. Nostalgia's bunk. Those things are gone. I just want them to get rid of the trees. That's not nostalgia. That's 5.7. We get trees out of foundations. And pretty much the reason they lost most of their initial players was people thought the trees sucked. Now, back in original verse 1, there were many more trees. It was ridiculous. I, in fact, can't believe they let it go that way, because you could not build without things sticking through these big blocks of rock. It was ridiculous, right? Truly, although I would always forget to bring them to dungeons. Dungeons weren't much of a... Well, they were a bit of a thing back then. But we didn't have torches for too long while we had dungeons. Really, Elrin. I mean, really. I mean, but some people know more than I do. Of course, man. There's people who've been maxed out. Maxed out for a long time. Only the resets caused them any trouble. So anyway, yeah, grace is used for this. As you know, grace is used for your blessings. 10. That's the login grace. To cast this and get a 30-minute duration, you're spending an hour on. You've got that. I've heard complaints about these, and no, I've never used them because they're not worth the grace. 20 for when you're doing foraging, mining, skinning, which that's just 30 minutes while you're running around. Find an area with a lot of deer, find an area with a lot of goats, find an area with a lot of boars, your skinning increases. Or whatever, larger and smaller things, skin the darn Zebians. So wood cutting, just in case you just can't get enough and you really want to spend, 20 minutes. How fast can you fill up your inventory? Are you walking that far away to empty it before you use up the time and fill it again? Bit of planning. But, winemaker. While you're making wine, you can, winemaking and brewing while you're crafting. Very interesting. These things I've never thought of. Now, before, see the little bonus ribbon has gone up here? Very interesting, right? No longer up there, is it? So, you know what I mean? They're not advertising it. Very interesting. But as you can see, Johan doesn't have any bonuses. I wish I can go back in time a little. But that's what we have. That's what we have here. Now, we want to, next time, by next Sunday, I want to take a better look at Sulka. He said a lot of things. There's only one interview, I think, that I haven't seen, but though he might have said those things again that he said there, and that's Altari's. And if you donate to Altari's site, you get to see that video. I'm not going to be doing that. But, no offense, Altari. I'm just not to Altari, that is. I'm not speaking directly to Altari, but yes, that too. I would have paid for it already if I intended to. So, plus that's the only thing I'd want, and I kind of feel bad saying, nope, that's all I wanted. So the loading issue, you can cut down your distance. Pepe la Pete, the petty, la petty, never mind. I hope pedestrian, whatever. Soon to be blocked if I find anything different. Yeah, I get rid of people. I block them. I only like people who like me. Tough. So it's I'm just categorizing. I got a bunch of stuff to build, and that's what I'll be doing tonight. When you lose a plot, keep the stuff out of those margins. I was reading in Discord, those notes where it's saying, when the plot is frozen, they want you to be able, when it's red, like my neighbors were a minute ago, when it's red, if you want to move your stuff, they want you to be able to move your stuff. If you've just pulled your plot up, you just took it away, they had a lockup problem with that. So hopefully that works out, because there's nothing more frustrating than having to walk back and forth to different home valleys, perhaps on different, in different sections of Gallia, outside of Caries, outside of wherever you are. You already have to do all that. So this sort of change, which we've had, perhaps with the homesteader, okay? And some will say, oh, they're just doing things too fast. Well, there are cascading issues, and that's just the way it is. And unless you make video games, hush. Really, anyway. So, the plots, the loading, yeah, if you can remember, set your distance lower, or just get used to it. Maybe when you get on, you can set your distance lower, and that would do it immediately before. Something to check. We got the Arcadia patch, which will be a while before you guys see it, maybe sooner. It seems these are just fixes they put in. Only a few things worth mentioning to make sure they're on the ball with that, right? So we're going to take a closer look at Sulka, but that grace, is it going too many directions? Get 10 grace a login. And they're like, oh, well, you can use it for this, you can use it for that, you can spend all your gold buying more. I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know if that's really working out for them very well, because people are getting pretty dissatisfied down the road with what grace ultimately gets them. Now, once again, I want to say cheers to Thor Gunnarsson, because he's the first face I saw in Pax Dei. First face. He's the one. I mean, everybody else was there. Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know who's left, but those faces that they still have in their things, they should change them if those people have left, any of them, because that's kind of bogus. But while I'll be looking at him again personally. I didn't see him in any interviews or anything like that, but there's a bit out there with Solka, and I'll be working on that. So, because he's said a lot of things, hasn't he? And we're going to see what kind of Pax Dei he talked about. And what does it mean to have him, Mr. Haro, as CEO of Mainframe now? Now, I have no reason to think that Lars is not still there. I mean, really. It's just a CEO position. And like change of management, it looks better. Investors, stuff like that. Not going to even go into that part of it. I had done that before. If you caught that, glad you did. I have not heard any more reference to it. It was just a public document. And who cares? Most video games are done on potential, right? They don't make a profit. Well, they make a profit in the past. Now, yes, Pax Dei. Oh, how we wish the nostalgia. It sold a lot of copies. It should have sold about 90,000 more. It should have. Really, when it came to the potential, people really did shy away from it, rather amazingly. Where, like Parasims, for a lot more money, unless you were a founder investor and you paid $70. After that, you didn't have a chance to pay $70. You paid 15. $15, $14. So for it not to sell, that many copies, there is something inherently opposed to the gaming market about Pax Dei. Now, I fear what that is that it's just not like every other game. And that we may be seeing, what is it? Balatori? Those guys, whatever they call themselves, oh, it looks so beautiful, man. They can do cutscenes all right, can't they, Johan? They can do those wicked old cutscenes, but they had a beta they were advertising for, a pre-alpha that they were advertising for testing. I haven't found it. I've been really looking for it. It was supposed to be on their Steam page. I thought I had actually seen it open before, and then I thought I'd missed it. But now it seems as if it never happened. The last thing I read on them, though, very little you can, now 2 years, perhaps, into their announcement, a little bit less, but they're going to charge for it. They're going to charge subscriptions, and they're going to do all that, because there's no bloody way you can do it without it. So, there's no hope, kids. If you want something for free, okay, well, go have fun. Really. Pax Dei is already an expensive-looking pursuit. There's a lot of fixes, a lot of fixes, a lot of bugs. Is Mainframe really earning enough to keep up with this? Cool if they are. If they're not, oof. I pray they love what they're doing, really. And that's why I've said why they need to go back to what they originally thought and eliminate, if they haven't already, all those things. Find out what they can and can't do. One last thing. Peter, I was looking up the information earlier. Peter, I forgot his last name. Do I have it up here? Yes. Peter Oren Pararansson. Sorry, Peter, if I mess up your name. But Peter had put out that if mounts are going to happen, they're just going to be a horse, and our stats, our stamina is increased by riding it. And it's not going to be speed, it's just going to be the highest sprint, right? But we'll be able to do it for longer because on the horse, our stamina will be higher. There will also be no inventory on the animal. And Peter only said this maybe in June, really. He's like, there's not going to be any cargo on the animal, just while we are on the animal, our cargo will be increased in our own personal inventory. It's sounding worse. And then when we get off the horse with this extra inventory, or if the horse is slayed out from under us, we are then encumbered. So you can stand your ground and fight, which is pretty much what we do anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem. But you're not going to be running, and you're going to be walking, because your horse is dead. And you're over encumbered. And now you just drop all that extra stuff. That ain't gonna work, Peter. That ain't gonna bloody well work. So why don't you rethink that and make it like the original video with saddlebags. Make the horse an independent thing that has its own stamina. Yeah, feeding it and giving it sugar cubes, maybe later, right? But to actually have a horse that's worthless, an inflatable thing between our legs, that we're encumbered when we're off it. No. Really, why don't you just grow more trees through the foundations? I think that will have a better result than that horse. Oddly love the sound of them. Lanterns were cool. They're still going on the lanterns. Oddly love the sound of them. That was 2 years ago, folks. 2 years ago. Time to get over it. All right, everybody. May the Lord bless you. Yeah, they would blind you in a skinny minute. Someone, see, you can't. Elrin was saying how wonderful they were. Now they're going to lessen the problems. I love it. No, I don't. All right, everybody. May the Lord bless you, and Lord bless you. Truly, if you're playing Pax Dei, the Lord has certainly blessed you. This is not a cheap thing. But, man, you read Discord, people pretty much treat it like a little cheap thing. I really don't get it. Mainframe puts up with people. That's fine. Colonel Sanders there from the Community Champions. He's got great editing observations. You'd think someone with maxed out stuff who's a community champion. Okay, community champions basically only get it because they spend all day on Discord, so everybody sees them, so everybody remembers them, and people vote for them. They have nothing else to do. And they're not nice people, so I don't know. Well, flying monkeys like them. There. False Incorporated is plenty loved by the flying monkeys. So anyway, keep your sticks on the ice. And chop them in the ankles. Then when they're on the ground, you keep your stick on the ice, and you chop them everywhere else. See you tomorrow. End broadcast.